Hey everybody, YouTube. I'm doing this video here. If you can tell by the title, we're talking about if schools are motivated, the top 3 reasons that they're possibly failing you in your community. For me, it's the Homestead, South Miami community. So I've doing it here from the studio. I want to show you a little bit here. We just put this laminate floor in. I actually did it because I wanted the place to look good. And one of the things I hear from people, let me take a seat right here, is Master Dave, the place looks good already. Why do you keep fixing it? I mean, I just rented this place in January. It was kind of, I don't want to say a dump, but it was kind of left in a mess, let's say, from the previous tenant, which was another martial arts school. And I found out some things as we start digging through everything, throwing trash out. They had personal information of people sitting around that could have been used by anybody nefariously. I shredded it, had to throw it away. I also found out they stole water from the city. That's why one of the meters had to be replaced when I turned the water on. All sorts of stuff. And it amazes me there are martial arts instructors teaching and running schools and doing things like that. So what this video is about, and I have my notes, you're going to forgive me if I read through it. Is the school you see or in your area or you're attending, are they motivated? Are they motivated for you? Are they motivated for themselves? Are motivated for anything? And you can tell when a school's not motivated. You can tell when they just are just kind of going through the motions. Have I been guilty of that? Yeah, stuff happens in your life. I've gone through the motions, and then before you know it, you realize things are not as good as they were, and you have to fix them, and you just get back up. But the idea is you have to fix them. So, number 1, are they improving everything? Not just the look of the studio, but their curriculum. Are they improving? Is it the same thing? Is it kind of stale, dry? Do they fix anything? So for me, curriculum, we kind of are a little fluid. I have a standard curriculum, and every year we kind of revamp it. I either change something around, move some things around, or I say, you know what, this is better suited for our juniors. This one's better suited for our seniors because of the difficulty factor, or we don't teach something anymore. We just replace it because we find it's not effective. We also go through how we teach classes. So that's a big deal. Now, I also do lesson plans every Friday with my staff. We go through everything I want taught in the week. I have a rotating curriculum. The block's all written out for the year. And if there's an issue we see before Monday, we take care of it. Monday, we review everything again. Before classes, we actually train, and then we teach class. Okay? And when you see a class, if they're kind of stale and they're just kind of like, the classes are outrun, we're going to get into that point 3. There's a reason for that. Okay? Is everything held together with duct tape? Is the equipment looks bad? I mean, have they replaced anything? If it's damaged, is it still on the mat? That speaks a lot about them. Is there a hole in the wall? Now, you can't always fix something that happens. Sometimes a bag hits the wall and there's a mark on it, a broken mark, and it happens that day, but is it starting to be fixed? Like when you come in the next day, oh, I see, they've kind of prepped the wall. Next day, okay, it looks like it's been sanded and smooth, and then 3rd, 4th day, it's been painted. Have you seen that? If you're not seeing that after a week and you see they still haven't fixed it, they don't care. They're not motivated to fix it, and they just don't really care about it. So that's important. That's point 1. Point 2, is there a lack of congruence? Is there does a school match? I mean, I know it sounds kind of silly, but does everything match? Is the equipment a certain color, or do they get blue when their colors are black because it was on sale? Did they get, does their school logo match the colors inside the studio? Like if the studio is red, white, and blue, but the logo is black and red, does that make sense? Now, I have some things that are still blue, but I match it with some other colors. I have a blue mat area and I have a gray mat area. The school colors, if you look at our logo, is like here, black, yellow, red, some white. We use the off-white instead because it kind of gives a somber kind of nice homey feel, hence the House of Warriors. And we put some thought into it. Black sofas, black equipment, some reds to match the colors. I'm ready to flip the mats over to match everything, but I have to do something with the walls inside the training area so that they kind of blend and match. So it's just not all black or all this color. Okay, do they do that? Does it look like they went through 10 yard sales over 4 months and just pieced everything together and the chairs don't match, tables out of place, there's tchotchkes everywhere? It just doesn't look good. If they're not paying attention to that detail, they're not paying attention to you on the mat, on the floor, or teaching. It's a fact. It's going to happen. I was amazed how when I went to Korea that Their studios are a mix of modern and the best of traditional. Like you go in, it's got a very traditional feel, but they have TV sets and other modern equipment to enhance your training. That was impressive. And I hear people, and I know they have never been to Asia or trained in martial arts, when they say, oh, use mats instead of hard tongue wood groove floor. But actually in Asia, they don't use a hardwood floor. It's a hardwood floor with a recess so it has give, like a gymnastics floor. Also, they've been using these mats since the early 80s. They had them 10 years before we got them here in this country. Reason is tatami, which is what they're based off of, is based off a plant. And some people are allergic, so they have to use polyurethane and vinyl and stuff to kind of offset that. Okay, so 3, the final point, class management. Everyone thinks when a class is big, it's going to be bad. And think about it this way. If you go to a restaurant at lunchtime and there's nobody in there at lunchtime, chances are the food is bad. Okay, very bad. And a place should look busy. It should look like it's in control, though. So the secret isn't the class size. The problem is class management. They don't know how to manage their classes. This goes back to point 1. The lesson plans, we put them out on Friday. We go through them. We chain on Monday, make sure we get all the kinks out. And then when we start teaching, if something is kind of needs a little tweaking, we tweak it the next day. And we know already how to run our classes. Now, if you have somebody who just runs into class and is already out of control in the first 5 minutes, they had no plan. They didn't plan it out. They just show up, teach, because they've already got burned out or they've given up. Or they don't know what they're doing. So it's not how many kids you have on the floor. Now, I will tell you with my little guys, my 4 and 5s, I would generally keep it no more than 10 to 15 kids per class session because they're a little more difficult to teach. We also have a rule of 1 per 4. So if there's 10 kids, we're going to have at least 2 instructors on that mat because you have to. And with the older kids group, a good ratio is 1 to 8 or 1 to 10. So if I had 20 kids on that mat, which would be doable, I've done 30, you'd have to have 2 people on the floor, minimum. And 3 would be better so that you have enough attention for everybody. Same as in preschool, same as in regular school, 1 per 8, 1 per 10. So if you have a classroom of 10 people, you do okay yourself. But if you have 20 or 30 and you're the only guy on the floor, you're going to lose them. It's going to be hard. I've done it, but you need that assistant to kind of help you. And are they using free assistants? You ever notice they have assistants, all of a sudden they don't show up? If they're not paying for them, they're actually violating the labor laws. You're supposed to pay people for their work. That whole nonsense about they have to earn their black belt by assisting is actually a lie. It's not true. That's not how you make good instructors, is how you make people upset about their instructor and not want to train and teach martial arts anymore. So those are the 3 things I've come up with. There's a couple sub-points in there. Now, for me, why I'm passionate, if you are in a martial arts class and you're enjoying it, great. Enjoy it. Keep going. If you're not joined yet, talk to each instructor. Visit them. Talk to them. Call them. If they pick up right away, you know they're invested in you. If they don't ever return your message, sometimes it's difficult. We get weird calls sometimes. They don't leave a message, and sometimes the phone numbers don't work when we call them back. So that can be an issue on our part. But, talk to them. Visit the studio. Check the bathrooms. I did that with a tour yesterday. I had some people come in, and they were disappointed with the school they were with before. And I showed them our bathrooms and how clean they were. That was the first part of the tour. And they said, man, the bathrooms in the other school were like dirty. It was disgusting. I said, well, if they haven't cleaned their bathrooms, guarantee you the equipment isn't clean as well. It's not going to be that good. And they agreed because it was a very dirty, dingy school. And it was out of control. And they understand what I said. It wasn't the size of the classes that were the problem. It's just they just didn't know what they were doing. So that's it. If you have any questions, you can always ask me. Pop it down below. I'll answer it in another video. Thanks for joining me, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great kicking day.